codes. So SAP performance related transaction codes here, right? So which means if any performance issues or anything, we can use these transaction codes to we can use this transaction code to fix the issues and troubleshoot the issues and etc. Right? The first one is called the ST01. ST01 is the transaction code. This is called the system tracing option. ST01 system trace here. So the currently in the SAP system, if you want to take the system trace, go to ST01 transaction code, then we can enable the trace, we can activate the trace here. So if we want to activate for all the actives, we can activate the trace on. So then, so then, so means the existing logs are not enough to troubleshoot it. So if you want to activate the traces, then we can activate the tracing functionality system trace in ST01. What are the traces means? Authorization check, RFC calls, HTTP calls, and kernel related, DB related, table buffers related traces or anything, we can activate it. Then we can ask them to user to reproduce the issue. Then once the user got error message, then we can just switch off the traces. Then we can we can switch off the traces, we can analyze the traces here. We can perform the analysis here. The currently, but no records. The records will be generated in the systems here. Currently no records, but the records will be generated from the systems here. Let me take out all those things here. This is newly installed system, right? We don't have anything. Remove the dates and checking. So normally ST20, SM21, ST22, there we can find out the some traces information and everything. But sometimes so some traces will not be collected. In that case, to collect the evidences from the system, we can enable the system and then we can see it. So what's happening with that particular time? Why there is a red call? There is a call function, no duration of the stack action. There is a issue. There is a transaction ID. There is a system. So like that. So we can do the some analysis tracing. At least we can collect the traces. We can inform to SAP to investigate it here. We can inform SAP to the investigate it further here. So those things we can perform it in the SAP systems here. ST01 system trace activation. In case of existing traces are not enough to troubleshoot it, then ST01 will be helpful to troubleshoot the issues. Okay, the next one is called the ST02. ST02 tune summary buffers. So ST02, it kind of tuning the tune summary. Here we can check the buffers, swaps, hit ratio, then memory areas, all the things we can check it out here, right? So all those things we can check it out here, right? So these are the tune summary ST02. This is the SAP level buffers here. The information will be stored into in this buffers. The temporary information will be stored into in this buffers here, SAP buffers here. So here we can find out the buffers hit ratio, then allocation, how much it is the allocated, what is the free space currently, then what is the free percentage, size, swaps, DB access, and the SAP memory areas here, page memory, extended memory, heap memory, what are the memory areas and how much it is used, all the information we can check it out here. All the information we can check it out here, right? Those are the buffers information. We can see it here. Buffers related information. We can see it here. So buffers means in SAP level, we have the temporary storage area. Buffers means it kind of temporarily it will store the SAP data here. Suppose example, if you see, so as part of the architecture, this is the presentation layer. This is the SAP layer. This is the database here. right? So in the SAP level, application server level, we have the some buffers, temporary storage buffers here. Temporary, the storage buffers we have here. Here, what will happen here, the temporary storage buffers, whenever you requested something from the your GUI to here, first it will check the query in the buffers. It's already there in the SAP level or not. It will check it out here. In case of this is not available here, in case of this is not exist in the here, so then it will go to the database level, it will search it out. These are called the buffers, means the frequently accessed data, the users which are who are frequently accessing that data will be stored into the buffers. That data will be stored into the buffers. The frequently the accessed data will be stored into the buffers here, right? So that's the reason all the buffers will be stored into, yeah, all the data will be stored. If the data is available in the buffers, immediately it will pull the data, then it will hand over to the user. If the data is not there in the buffer, then it will go to the database level, it will search it out, then it will give the response back to the user, and one copy of data will be stored into the buffers, right? So that's why buffers are called the temporary storage areas here. So always the buffer hit ratio should be 95 plus. So means out of 100 requests, 95 requests should go and hit the buffers. Remaining 5 requests should go to the database level. That is the best recommended. That is the best performance here. So if the buffers are worst, means 8461 means system performance is not good. So let's review the some other systems responses here. Other systems. Tune summary. ST02. So here you can see always perfectly fine. See here 98, 99, 99.0 buffers. So name tab buffer, program, more programs will be in this buffer. CA buffer, screen, calendar, tables, export, import. These are the buffers, kind of containers, kind of boxes. If you go to our kitchen room, so each and everything in the one container. So salt is in the one container. So chili in the one container, different tips, different things in the different container boxes, right? Same as like here also, each and everything tables, table definition in the one container, field definitions, initial records, programs, CUI, calendar, screens, all are in the different buffers here. So if the suppose like user is trying to access the program, it will check in the buffer. In that program buffer, that program is there, then quickly it will execute it. If that is not there, then it will give you the error messages here. Suppose like I am going to access the one of the transaction code is called the PA30 functional transaction code. Don't worry, it's a the training related transaction code, maintain the HR data, all those things here. See here how fast I got the data. Suppose like MyGo transaction code, MyGo goods related thing. See here how much time it is searching here. Now we can see the response time. Why? Because this data, this goods movement data is not exist in the buffers. So that's why it's searching in the buffer level. It not exist, then it is going to the database level. It will search in the database level. It will give you the response. It gives the response here. It gives the response here. Let's see here. Right? You got the response here. How much time it is taken? Here we can see it here. Right? Here the response time is the 625 milliseconds. The MyGo transaction code response time is the 625 milliseconds here. Okay. So now execute once again the MyGo transaction code. Right? Now you see how fast you got the response here. Right? How fast you got the response time here. Previously, it is not that much of code. It's taken some time. Now If you execute, keep on accessing the transaction code, you are getting the very speed response. You are getting the very speed response you are getting here. So what happened means, so when you keep on accessing the system transactions and everything, it will store the data into the temporary transaction. It will store the data into the temporarily it will store the data. Temporarily it will store the data in the systems temporarily, right? Temporarily it will store the data. So that's why, so that's why, so frequently accessed data will be stored into the buffers. If the frequently accessed data storing into the buffers, system performance is very good. If not, then if it is not good, then what we have to do? So then we keep on accessing the system. That's why whenever system restarted, that time when you are accessing the transaction code little bit slow. Why? Because these buffers are temporary storage area only. Whenever the restart happens, all the buffers, whatever the data is there, that will be flushed out. That will be flushed out here. That will be flushed out here. So that is the reason temporary storage area only it will be displayed here. All right. So one more example. Let's see PA01. No. Yeah. VA01 sales orders. See here, it is compiling, it is processing, it's compiling. See here how much time it's taking. Let's see here. So sales order related transaction code 111 milliseconds, right? So 11,100. So this is a milliseconds to create the sales order. How much time we got it? Now again you execute the transaction code, you will get the immediate results now. So immediate results now. So 1157 response time. So which means, so the response time got improved in the second time. How means? You are keep on accessing the data. You are keep on accessing the data. So that's why easily the data is storing into buffers. Then it's giving the response to you immediately. It is giving the response to you, right? So that's why, so the buffers are like a temporary storage area. So, sir, here the buffers are coming like this. But what we can do to fix the issues in case sometimes the buffers are so different. You keep on accessing, the buffers will come to the status here. Sometimes this is the hit ratio. Sometimes the allocation of the each buffer, there is a dedicated KB, means the particular size limit is there here. Sometimes what happens, the limitation, the free KB comes to the 0% or 100 MB, which means then whenever the buffers don't have the much space, then you will get the swaps. When we don't have the much space here, we will get the swaps here. So when we don't have the free space, we will get the swaps here. When the swaps come, so here when the buffers are don't have much space or overflow is happening, then we may get the swaps here. We may get the swaps here. Also, we can see the memory areas here. So based upon this screen, we will come to know how the system is behaving and everything we will come to know here. Now you see NW1 system yesterday only we installed, today we started using all those things, right? So then just wait for some more hours and you see the buffers improvement will be increased. So we can also check the what is the current parameter values and all those things we can see it here. Current parameter value and all those things we can see it here, right? Current parameter value means what is the size of the each and every parameter value. Suppose if you want to increase the buffers, we can increase the buffer by changing this parameter value. CA buffer, program buffer, calendar buffer, all the buffers, there is specific size is there. If you want to increase, we can increase it by changing the parameters. So we can check it out. Now take this one. So then we can copy and go to the RG10. Then we can change the parameter values here. The main thing is here as part of the daily activity. So we need to check are there any swaps are occurring or not, right? If the swaps are coming, the red entries will come here. So then we are in the situation like buffers are running out of the free space. Then we have to increase the space. Buffers are running out of the free space. Then we may have to increase the space. we have to increase the size or we need to delete. So we can also check what's there in that buffers, what there in that buffer, history, summary, all the information we can check it out here, right? All the information we can check in the buffers here, right? So buffers utilization, we can see it. ST02 is the transaction code. There we can check the buffers utilizations and all the information we can check it out. Buffers utilization, all the information we can check it out here, right? So if something, some buffers are not responding well, so the swaps are coming means there is a issue. But this is the one of the real system where we can see, so the transactions and the hit ratio, everything is good. Somewhat it's okay, fine. So like that we can see the transactions buffers. So day to day we can log into the ST02, see any swaps are occurred, no, then we are good. So is there any, so percentage of the free is coming to the zero or something, then we need to worry about. The buffers are don't have the much space, then so it overflow will happen. Buffers kind of bucket. In our home, we have the bucket. In the bucket, we will pour the water, right? Same as like here the frequently accessed water, we will pour it in the buffers. Same. So what happens? The buffer does not have the free space buffer. So the water will be overflow, right? Here also the buckets, in the bucket, the data will be overflow will happen. Then how can I know? Will the system tell us overflow means? No, here we need to check the, here we need to check the, so swaps. If the swaps are occurring, then we will come to know if the buffers are overflow is happening or not. We will come to know here.
Hello. So
Hello.
space and size, OS team needs to increase now, or should we?
The voice level space is there, we can increase the, so this parameters value, we can increase it. Even if voice level also not exist, then so we cannot change it SAP level, right? First they have to change it, then after that we can change the parameter value. Suppose like this is a 3 GB, I think it's configured, right? This is the 3 GB configured. So check if you are going to increase the 4 GB, another 1 GB should be free. If it is the free, you can do that one. If you don't have that much of free space, then definitely operating system team will do the increase, will increase it. Okay, so that is about the ST